I miss the music a lot. I kind of forgot the desktop I'm using here. It just doesn't kind of pick up the YouTube audio, which is a little bit of a bummer because that's one of my favorite parts of the show is picking out the song that I play. Welcome to KO Bets. My name is Bill. We've got UFC Fight Night, Curtis Blaydes versus Chris Daukaus to review. A grand total of 13 fights. 13 fights we've got. Before we get started, if you wouldn't mind, please subscribe to the channel. You get notified when I go live or post any sort of content. I do have an NFT giveaway contest I'm running right now. It's kind of contingent on hitting 100 subscribers. I think we're at 26 or 27 subscribers last time I checked. So we're getting there. We're approaching. Share it with someone. Distribute the channel. If you're a subscriber and you want this NFT, I might hold on to it forever at this pace. So maybe share it with someone, tweet out a link, something like that. I would appreciate it. And I'll give you a huge shout out on this stream. Without further ado, we got a bunch of fights to review, so let's get into these. That's why you're here. All right, we'll start with the prelims here. We've got Luis Saldana taking on Bruno Souza. The line's close on this one. Saldana's the slight underdog at plus 100. Bruno Souza, slight favorite at minus 120. Souza is 0-1 in the UFC. He lost a tough fight versus Melsik Bagdasaryan, a 3-round decision loss in his debut. Good fighter. Don't think Luis Saldana is that good. He is 1-1 in the UFC. Right here, stylistically, we've got some really good kickers. Both guys do a good job of kicking each other in the leg, kicking their opponents in the leg, the body. Personally, I mean, this is such a close fight. I don't know if anyone's really even in danger of getting knocked out when I'm looking at this fight too. So it's so close on the line. I think I'm going to go with Bruno Silva at minus 120, the favorite. For the money line pick, I'm just trying to be correct. I don't think it's necessarily smart to bet on the money line. We could see Saldana, implement some sort of wrestling game plan, or Souza do that and just catch us off guard. But I think it's going to be a close matchup. I think probably a decision. If we're looking at the betting lines, there's definitely some more appealing lines, I would say, out there. So I like to look at the fight props, see what Vegas is thinking. Fight to go the distance. Obviously, Vegas likes this one to go the distance. We had that over 2.5, under 2.5 line. I mean, it's a close matchup, like I said. Maybe I'm taking something like that. If you like the skill set of one particular fighter, maybe you put some money on a decision or parlay. If it's Luis Saldana, he's got 9 KO wins, 5 submission wins. So literally 14 out of his 15 fights have ended inside the distance. But Bruno Souza, 2 losses, and they're both decisions. So I don't know. I think stylistically we might see a low output striking match. And I guess I'm going to go with Souza on that front. All right, next bout we've got Matheus Nicolau taking on David Dvorak. David Dvorak is the slight favorite at minus 120, 3-0 in the UFC. Really high IQ, surgical kind of fighter. Really like him. I think he looks good in there. He's taking on Matheus Nicolau, who is 2-0 in the UFC. He is the slight underdog. Beat Manel Cape and Tim Elliott in his first 2 fights. He's a good overall fighter. I think he's... I think where David Dvorak is maybe going to, like, separate himself is on the feet if he's going to win this fight. Like, he's going to have to fight, with a very high IQ. I don't think he should grapple with Matheus Nicolau. I think he wants to keep it standing. But if it does go to the mat, I think he's serviceable enough on the mat. The measurables as far as reach, it's a little bit in his favor. But ultimately, I think I just like his IQ a little bit. He's 20-3. One moment, I'm going to plug this in and continue to talk to you. I guess they're very similar record-wise. I guess I've just been impressed thus far with what we've seen from David Dvorak. Not totally sold on the competition Matheus has faced thus far. So I think this is a big step up for Matheus as far as, fighting someone who's extremely technically sound and knows how to win fights on a consistent basis. Like, that's David right here. So if we're looking at the fight lines, just because I like to check, what is Vegas thinking? What are the odds makers thinking? They like it to go the distance, okay? So, so maybe we're leaning again towards another over, fight goes the distance kind of result. It is a close fight. I think if Nicolau is able to implement, like, effective grappling in this, like, yeah, he could probably take it, but I don't think he's going to be able to. Dvorak is a little bit well-rounded. I'm drinking Coca-Cola. Just kidding, it's a Guinness from St. Paddy's Day. Next fight, we've got Jennifer Maia taking on Mannion Fiorot. Mannion's just been, like, really impressive in the UFC thus far. It's not too often that you see a female fighter just, like, knocking everyone out. And she's got incredibly dangerous hands, powerful hands. Like, every punch she throws, it looks like it hurts really, really bad. And to see, like, a 75% KO rate, that's like Francis Ngannou. Maybe Francis is it's probably right around there. It's absolutely incredible to watch her fight. She's one of my favorite fighters already. Out of France. I really like her on this card. She is a heavy favorite at -450. And I think her last fight, she went to a decision. But in her first 2 bouts, she knocked out her opponent. Jennifer Maia is definitely hittable and is going to struggle standing up in this. If she can get the fight to the ground, like, maybe there's a path to victory there, but Fiorot just is, like, super impressive, and I think I'm going to have no problem parlaying -450 with some other lines. You don't have to risk, just parlay. We'll keep it up just so we can, explore different combinations, because the first 2 fights I didn't love anyone on the money line. So we'll explore some different combinations, and you can, just so you're not risking as much. Vegas does like the fight to go the distance at -195. winning method, we're pretty much just limiting ourselves to KO or decision for Fiora, and that's minus 400. That's not great. Yeah, honestly, like, Jennifer Mai could just get knocked out pretty early in this fight. It's tough to say that's for sure gonna happen. If we're looking at Jennifer Mai's losses, she only has one knockout loss. I'm not sure who that was to, but I mean, obviously Fiora is a different type of fighter on the feet than what we've seen Mai face recently. So love Mannion Fiora in this fight. Sometimes I'll probably do like a little bit of teaser bet on like the Fiora KO, or maybe if they like it to go the distance, like maybe Fiora and over minus 280. Like, you just maybe like that's what I place my individual bet on for this fight, and then I parlay like this minus 450 with someone else. I think Mannion's gonna definitely hit. Aliaskhab Kirsriv. Aliaskhab Kirsriv. Tough name to pronounce. This is the most I've seen this a few times, but this is pretty ridiculous. I just gotta start here and show you. Minus 1,125 odds for Aliaskhab. And so he's 13-0. He's a Contender Series guy. Absolutely destroyed on the Contender Series. And he's gonna he's gonna wrestle with this Dennis Tulian guy. With his 10 let me see. Yeah, so it says he's 10-5. I had him at 9-5 record. He does have a nice, KO rate with 8 KOs, but he's making his UFC debut. Honestly, like, maybe if you're doing like a round robin thing and you're just trying to put a little like teaser in every fight, like maybe you're doing this one minus 750 if it doesn't go the distance. It's incredible. Yeah, I mean, it's just got all the signs of like something you just want to avoid. Like, yeah, just for fun. It's not even that's not fun. Yeah, I mean, maybe there's, I don't know. We know just the resume of UFC fighters from Russia. Maybe this Dennis guy is a good grappler, but I don't know. Aliaskhab was really impressive on the Contender Series, so likely going to be some sort of finish. Kirsriv projects as the heavy favorite. Does seem like a monster. It's just, what do you even do with that line? And then the winning methods, it's like, where's the value here? They like the submission. I mean, do we think it? I don't think it goes to a decision. I think there's zero chance. So, I mean, I don't know. Bet at your own risk. This is just one I'll probably avoid, to be perfectly honest. Next fight, we're going with Aliaskhab on the money line, though. Next fight, we've got Chris Gutierrez taking on Badrigal Dana. Chris Gutierrez, slight underdog, plus 110. He's on a 2-fight win streak. He's 5-0 with 1 draw since his debut loss to Raoni Barcelos. Badrigal Dana, 3-fight win streak. I mean, both are really nice fighters. Badrigal, more of the boxing style. Chris Gutierrez, definitely more of a kicker. You can see it in the output numbers. Like Badrigal is just gonna. I would say he's gonna have more output, and the, even though the significant strike percentages you see there are a little skewed, I would say he's gonna, like, a decision result's gonna favor him. I don't know if it is going to be a decision though. I think both of these fighters are good in the stand-up department. So you're basically like, is Chris Gutierrez going to be able to like kick out the leg from Badrigal, or is Badrigal just going to, jab him up and find his range? So that's what you're looking to see early on in the fight. I guess on the money line, man, this is tough. I actually think like Chris Gutierrez presents some value. He's just been really solid lately. He's 9-3 in decisions. Badrigal's 2-2. I just think there's a little bit of value on Chris Gutierrez. I didn't even circle it. But yeah, I think I'm going to go with Chris, the underdog in this one. He's just on a tear right now, and I think I think we're probably looking at a decision at that point. And yeah, Badrigal's probably got a little better knockout prowess, but I don't know. I think there is some value on a decision in this fight. That's just my personal opinion. We've got a combined 0 knockout losses in play here. So I'm wondering, like, okay. Yeah, Chris, he's tried the takedown before. So I'm like wondering, like, in a close fight, who's gonna, like, where's the difference gonna be? Is it gonna be output? Is it gonna be a takedown? Is it gonna be wear and tear as the fight goes on? Is one person gonna look like they're about to give up at the end, kind of a deal? Like, what sort of fight are we gonna have between these two? I think it's gonna be primarily on the feet, but we'll go with Gutierrez to get it done. Kind of like a finish in this. Vegas says they like the finish too a little bit, but it's basically a pick-em. I just think, like, regardless, like, of who you like to win the fight, it does seem like maybe the probability in a pick-em of this fight not going the distance is, like, more likely. But yeah, so 6 out of 10 wins for Dana, KO. 7 out of 17 for Gutierrez, KO. Even though, so he's had more decision results, but probably no prop bets I'd throw out there for this one. Just gonna go with Chris Gutierrez on the money line. Yeah, slight underdog pick. Next fight, we've got Sarah McCann taking on Carol Rosa. I don't know. I just kind of feel like a similar story to, a few fights ago. Like, we've got Sarah McCann. She's obviously, done a lot in the sport. But she's just struggled recently. I guess she just faced Juliana Pena, who's obviously the champ right now, but she just seems like she's been struggling lately. I don't know if she's going to be able to implement any sort of wrestling game plan in this fight, which is the reason we're seeing Carol Rosa at this minus 225 odds. Rosa's definitely going to be the better boxer in this matchup. She's going to have the greater output. It's... Look at that takedown defense. That's tremendous. She's 4-0 in the UFC. Has been very good. So we're going to go with Carol Rosa. This is probably like the first fight I would consider parlaying the two. I saw teasers there. I was just checking. This is probably, like one of the first fights I would maybe parlay with Fiorot. We'll nominate some other ones. We'll call them like lock picks, We'll put them in there. As far as the fight props, they do like it to go the distance. I think that's probably sensible. Sarah McCann, 1 KO loss. Rosa, if she does lose, I think it is going to be a submission. So if you're going with Sarah McCann, like maybe put a little juice on the submission. I just can't see her taking her down on a consistent basis throughout the fight and coming up with a decision win. So next fight, we've got Neil Magny taking on Max Griffin. Magny, love Magny. He's the favorite at minus 275. I don't know. It's probably like a good line given what we've seen Max Griffin do thus far in the UFC against his competition, and he's been good as of late. I think he's on a 3-fight win streak. Does have the knockout power. Is pretty. I mean, he's pretty nice. He's good. He is facing Neil Magny though, who is a terrific stand-up fighter, tough puzzle to solve on the feet. Does have some pretty decent wrestling too. He always just kind of has the measurables, like the reach, the height on his side. So if this fight's going to be fought standing up on the feet, he's just got to manage that distance. Magny is 15-2 in decisions. He's a pro at winning these stand-up point fights. Gotta go with Neil Magny on the money line here. I got no choice. Oops. I got no choice. I see a couple of viewers here. That's awesome. Here we go. Yeah, so Neil Magny, okay, so he's down to minus 265. But as far as the fight props, I would say the fight is going to go the distance, minus 200. If Max Griffin wins, I guess he could knock out Neil. Neil's got 2 knockout losses, It's possible. He's going to have to find that range, though. They like the Neil Magny decision. Minus 120. So maybe this is one I would consider, like, this is where I kind of like love, like if I favor a Magny decision, like maybe this is where I search for slightly better odds, but Magny and over a round and a half, that's not like terrific. And then over 2.5, it's like maybe something like that, or maybe it's the same exact odds there. Minus 150. But then taking away those two and just doing the Magny money line, you're at minus 147 for Fiorot Magny. Kind of interesting. And then you're risking, like, you're cutting your risk in half for what you're winning for Fiorot. If you're, like, if you're confident, super confident that a fighter's gonna win, and the odds aren't in your favor, you gotta search for a little bit. Like, don't do like a 10 fight thing, but just search for a little bit better odds, you know. Next fight, we've got Mark Diakase taking on Vyacheslav Borshev. Like Vyacheslav Borshev a lot. Want to see him dance after the fight, so let's go with Vyacheslav Borshev. Minus 145. He's 1-0 in the UFC. Terrific boxer. Yeah, he's got to hold the heavy stand-up advantage, you would think, in this fight. Mark Diakase, he is on a 2-fight losing streak. He's, we've seen him lose via submission twice. He's 7-3 in decisions, so we're not gonna totally dismiss his ability to win this fight. I just don't think he's gonna find the takedowns on a consistent basis. I don't think he's because he's not a grappler, and if you don't have grappling, Borshev just seems pretty good. He seems pretty good. He's got some nice hands. So, like Borshev a lot. Plus 106. Yeah, just think he's a terrific fighter. Vegas does not like the fight to go the distance. They like the Borshev knockouts. They like the knockout in this, I think, is what we're seeing. So you could do Borshev via KO plus 130. You could do you could do a KO for either fighter minus 175. I'll probably just go with Borshev on the money line. Maybe put a little bit on the KO, but I don't know. Just got to see how the night's going. See how hot. If you're on a burner, you do what you're gonna do. But if you're having a rough night, we'll see what happens. If I'm hot, I gotta go for it. If you're hot, you take the shot. All right, next fight. Not a huge fan of this fight. I mean, it is what it is. We got Yair Latifi taking on Aleksei Oleinik. Latifi, he's on a 1-fight win streak. He's 1-3 in his last 4. He was originally a 205 guy. You can see he's short. The reach is off. So but I think he was short for 205 as well. And I don't think the measurables were always there for 205. So he's used to trying to close the distance. Definitely a wrestling foundation to this guy. He's taking on Aleksei Oleinik, who's just got an absurd record. Jiu-jitsu master. He does this. Maybe Tony Ferguson has done the Ezekiel choke, but Aleskei's done it on multiple occasions in the UFC. He's on the bottom, submitting his opponent, which is pretty crazy. And I don't know what to think about this. Latifi's the heavy favorite at minus 200. I don't really like him. Putting my money on him. Aleskei's the underdog at plus 170. I don't really like the idea of putting money on him. Yeah, just a weird fight. I'm definitely curious to dive into what the hell Vegas thinks about this. I think you gotta go with Latifi. Oleinik, he's on a 3-fight losing streak, and he has been getting knocked out, but man, it's just you don't trust either of these guys. Like, yeah, they like the Latifi KO plus 175. Oleski submission. Yeah, he's... So, I don't know if I said that number before. Out of his 59 wins, again, he's 59, 16, and 1 professionally. There's not too many UFC fighters, MMA fighters with those types of resumes. There's really not. He has won 46 of them via submission. I mean, I think Latifi could probably take him down and stay out of trouble, but who knows? Who knows? I mean, maybe I do like the fight to end and decide the distance. Maybe it's as simple as, like, either Latifi's knocking him out or he's, Olenek submitting Latifi. Maybe it's that simple. I don't really know, though. Latifi, 6 KO wins, 4 submission wins, 5 decision wins. No, we'll see. Be careful with this one. But I guess we'll go with Latifi on the money line. Next fight, we've got Askarov taking on Kai Kara-France. Tough fight. I don't think the odds makers are giving Kai Kara-France enough respect. He's plus 310. But he is taking on a very, very high IQ fighter in Askarov. Let me just find betting line here, and we'll go back to this. So Kai Kara-France, City Kickboxing, New Zealand guy. Obviously has dangerous and terrific stand-up. Kind of had a little bit of a coming out party. We can't even, he's talented. You could see that, but going against Cody Garbrandt in his 125 debut was, it gave him some good exposure, I think, to the world. Nice fighter. I mean, when you look at their resumes, they've really only lost to super good fighters. So Asker, he's on a 3-fight win streak. His debut was a draw against Brandon Moreno. He's beat Benavidez, Elliott recently. So he's dealt with some okay stand-up artists. I think Kai Kara-France is a little different than those guys stand-up wise. Like Kai's got definitely more knockout prowess than any of those guys, including Moreno, in my opinion. Tim Elliott's interesting, but he's a little wild, not necessarily technically sound. This is a tough fight. So Asker's minus 410, Kai's plus 310. I think in an ideal world, Asker would be way closer. I think Asker has dealt with some okay strikers, and he just wrestles, man. He's gonna wrestle, and then he's gonna shoot for it again, and he's gonna shoot for it again, and he's just got that always in his back pocket as a difference maker. Kai Kara-France doesn't really have that. He's got the good stand-up to lean on, but is he gonna knock out Askarov? If we're looking at the fight lines, the odds makers don't think that's likely. I don't know. I think the line's a little bit disrespectful towards Kai, but gotta go with Asker just because he has those takedowns in his back pocket. Close fight. All he's got to do is secure a takedown, so kind of like him. As far as the winning method, I might put a little bit on Kai, which is... Sorry, it's so stupid. A Kai KO plus 800. Let's see, Kai Kara KO round 1. Just put a little bit on there just to maybe hit big, but hardly anything, Both are really, really good fighters, so it's a good matchup. it's a good matchup. They're fighting tough opponents at this point in their career, and that's good to see. Next fight, we've got Matt Brown taking on Bryan Barberena. Matt Brown is minus 115 as the favorite. Had that absolutely filthy KO against Diego Lima, his last fight. Just really nice KO. He is a little bit older, like, you know, in his 40s, and he does have a lot of fights on his resume. Bryan Barberena, he's been around for a while too. You know, both are. This is a tough matchup again. Both are good fighters. I mean, we're looking at minus 115, minus 105. I think this is just really good matchmaking right here. Matt Brown will give him the KO prowess. I kind of think if Bryan Barberena is able to avoid the KO, it's just recency bias. I'm going with Matt Brown, and it's all recency bias. I can't really tell you why the older dude. I think the older dude's gonna win, but like, it seems a little stupid in my head. Bryan Barberena, he's a grinder. He's a good, tough guy, and I don't know if he's gonna be able to bring it to a decision, but he probably can. And like, maybe at that point the fight swings more in favor of a guy like Bryan Barberena. It probably does, just because Brown tends to get a little gassed out. But yeah, just because of recency bias, we're going with Matt Brown. Maybe he's just gonna like knock a couple people out on his way out of the UFC as he rides off into the setting sun. We'll go with Matt Brown on the money line. Next fight, we've got Joanne Wood taking on Alexa Grasso. In this fight, Grasso's the favorite. She's minus 260 odds. She's on a 2-fight win streak. Joanne Wood, plus 210, 2-fight losing streak. Yeah, I mean, Grasso's probably going to win this. She's a good fighter, good boxer. I don't think Joanne Wood has terrific takedown game to begin with, so like, I don't know. I think Alexa Grasso's gonna win here. We're gonna go with her on the money line. Joanne Wood is hittable. Yeah, just kind of favor Grasso, the boxer, and I think it's gonna be kept a stand-up match. I don't think Wood's gonna necessarily find the takedowns on a regular basis. So we'll go with Grasso. I just want to find those odds here. Minus 260. Minus 145. See what the odds makers like. They probably like it to go the distance. Yeah. I mean, Grasso's got good boxing, but yeah, she's 9-2 in decisions. She's had 4 KO wins. She's had 9 decision wins. And then as far as Wood, 0 KO losses. So, I mean, it kind of makes sense, like, that we would see like a Grasso decision that's minus 135, or Grasso and over, kind of like one of those types of bets you could do on the fight parlay page. Probably a pretty good bet if that cashing out for you. That was the co-main. Now we're on the main events. We've got Curtis Blaydes taking on Chris Daukaus. I gotta see myself in my own picture. Razor Blaydes. You see that? You see that? Oh, this side. That's Chicago. His parents have like a nice little apparel collection for him. I met them at a what was it? Oh, it was a craft show in the local area here, and they brought like a bunch of cool Curtis Blaydes stuff. They gave me a hat. I was chatting with them. Very nice people. Yeah, had a good time talking to them. Got some scentless no. It's like the wax melt, like something like that. I bought, and it was like all holiday scents. Terrific stuff. Yeah, his mom was selling, and I think making some of those, and then his dad was working on the Curtis Blaydes apparel. So it was definitely cool to run into them and just like, I don't know, it's just weird who you run into sometimes, you know? So in this fight, Curtis Blaydes, heavy favorite, minus 475. Chris Daukaus, slight underdog at plus 350. Blaydes is on a 1-fight win streak, just beat Rosenstrike. Daukaus, 1-fight losing streak, just lost to Derek Lewis. Boxer versus wrestler here. I think Blaydes knows, and you've heard him interview, he knows who he is as a fighter. He knows what he's good at. He's a wrestler, so he's going to take Chris Daukaus down. He's going to hold him down. He's going to implement ground and pound, and it's going to be dominant. And he's going to wear on Chris Daukaus, or Chris Daukaus is going to catch him with something while he's shooting in. And we have seen Curtis Blaydes, like, I think Derek Lewis, Nagano, which is understandable, like, to get knocked out by those guys. But then, seeing him beat Rosenstrike was pretty good to see. He beat Volkov. He got knocked out by Francis. That was a while ago. Yeah, I mean, I think Blaydes is the best heavyweight wrestler. I'm not even sure who else I could really put in the same breath as like him as far as wrestling ability goes. He's just extremely dominant and persistent in pursuing takedowns, and like I said, he's just got a good IQ. He knows what he does really well. He knows how to implement that sort of game plan. So Chris Daukaus definitely has his hands full. I think he loses the fight. I don't know how he loses it. Like, I don't even know if the odds makers are probably going to have this one pretty close. Is like, as far as is it going to go the distance? Like, I don't know. We've seen Curtis Blaydes has 10 knockouts, but he's getting it via ground and pound. So like, are we going to see a ground and pound stoppage? Maybe. It's kind of what the odds makers like, is a knockout. It looks like. That's tough. I mean, I know they're heavyweights. It's a 5-round bout. That's tough. So I would say, like, I think a Blaydes knockout is product of, like, maybe, like, wrestling and a little bit of wear and tear on Chris Daukaus as the fight goes on. So, like, maybe we're not... I love Chris Daukaus, I like Curtis Blaydes a lot in this fight. I like Chris Daukaus and his boxing ability. Like, he'll have a stand-up advantage, and I'm going to just say, like, that won't matter. You know? Just because he's going to get wrestled. Does have 100% takedown defense. And he was on an absolute tear till he ran into... I mean, I just made the face because he fought Olenek. I mean, some of the... Like, Porter's okay. I don't know. Actually, now that I'm looking at the competition, like, he's clearly better than these guys, right? Parker Porter, Namasiento Fiera. I don't know if he's still in the UFC. Olenek, Abdurkimov. Like, clearly better, but then, you know, just got knocked out versus Derek. Got into a dangerous range and got knocked out. So, I don't know. We'll see what happens. I would say, you know, yeah, like, why not, let's see, Curtis Blaydes and over 1.5. Like, why not explore something like that? Like, assume Daukaus is going to survive, like, being taken down in 1 round and maybe even 2 rounds, but then the longer the fight goes and the more Blaydes is taking him down and ground and pounding, it's gonna, you know, the higher the chances are that Daukaus is gonna have to give up. So I don't know. I'll probably do something like that. Curtis Blaydes and over. Probably do some Curtis Blaydes and over 1.5. I'll probably do some Curtis Blaydes, like, parlay type stuff. So I just want to see, like, the first... I liked her. I like Rosa. I like Magny. I like Vyashalev. I like Alexa Grasso, and I like Curtis Blaydes. And, like, I'm not saying, like, you know, you have to, you shouldn't, I'm not saying do this six pick parlay. I've got a 70% correct money line prediction percentage, whatever. You get what I'm trying to say. 70% of the time I'm right, 30% of the time I'm wrong. So, I mean... But you could take, like, any combination if you just to make sure you're not risking a ton of money on a fighter who might get upset ultimately. Like, okay, if I'm betting this parlay here, $100 to pay out $204. Compared to betting $100 and getting paid out $121, $150 getting paid out $181, $190 getting, you get what I'm saying, $180. I was trying to find that exact number. You know, just be smart. Parlay it with something else. If you like Curtis Blaydes or a heavy favorite, I'm staying away from Aliaskhab. Like I said, heavy favorite. Another heavy favorite on the card. Just like, what's the point even? What's the point? Yeah, I'm going to bet $1,000 to win $88 back. $10,000 to win $8. Like, come on. Come on, Vegas. What the hell is that? That's absurd. So, in MMA news, we had Jorge Masvidal. he was arrested for cold cocking Kobe while he was like outside a bar or something like that. I mean, I don't know. And then he gets booked in jail for it. Like, I get it. He's what? The Peacocks won? Oh, but they didn't go over. Did they go over? The Peacocks won. Holy cow. My buddy, he's like, you gotta bet the Peacocks. I'm like, nah. They didn't go over, 134. So I did a little parlay, 2-pick parlay. Peacocks and over, plus 12,036, but it didn't hit. Just like $10 or whatever. Man, what a crazy St. Pete's, huh? Man, I gotta stay away from that college basketball though. I think I had like a good first day, break even second day, and then after that it just went downhill. So I'm gonna for sure stay away from the college basketball stuff. Okay, let's look at something. Let's pretend we're in a bubble, okay? And let's not. So, oh yeah, I was talking about Jorge. They cold-cocked Kobe, got booked. I mean, honestly, you should press charges. That's pretty, like, reckless, dangerous. I mean, and he just fought him, like a week before or 2 weeks before, had 25 minutes to do whatever he wanted to, and now he's acting like, this is what men do, is they sneak up behind people and hit them, and it's just, I don't know, it's just a little weird. Maybe, yeah, that's all I'll say about it. Like, you can love Colby, you can hate Colby, but like, you don't do that to anyone. It's just stupid. Let's see. I'm so excited to see Hamzat. I think that's the weekend of April 9th. But let's look at our trending Twitter topics. Yeah, the St. Peter's Peacocks beat Purdue. That's crazy. I liked Purdue to beat. I don't know if I had them beating Kentucky or losing to Kentucky, but National Peacock Day. Anything else interesting? I'm not sure, like, Jersey City Elite Eight. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not really seeing anything super compelling or interesting to talk about on here. So I'm probably gonna just sign off. It's probably about that time, I would say. I appreciate everyone who tuned in to watch. If you wouldn't mind, like the video, leave a comment if you want of your favorite parlay in the chat section. I do like hearing from people. And yeah, I'll see you next week. Hopefully we have a good weekend of betting, and I think next week we're gonna review. Let's see. Let's just see what we got going on the following weekend. We might have a break actually, like a 1 week break. Let's see here. Yeah, okay, so we'll have a 1 week break, and then it's so on the 8th, I think it'll be Volkanovski versus the Korean Zombie. That takes place on the 9th, but we'll do the show on the 8th there. And yeah, and then it's right back into 1, 2, 3, 3. I forgot I exited that page. 3, 4, 5 straight weeks. We've got Oliveira Gaethje in May, and we've got Volkanovski versus Korean Zombie, and Hamzat's on that card. I'm extremely excited to watch Hamzat fight. I'm looking forward to that a lot. So appreciate you tuning in. Happy weekend. No music, unfortunately. We'll get it figured out. It might take a few weeks. We'll get it figured out. Cheers. Just listening to me gulp. All right.